All right. So, thank you everyone so much for joining the information session for the Masters in Organization Development and Leadership program at Fielding Graduate University. During this information session, we'll provide the space to introduce our wonderful staff on the call, give you space to introduce yourself. If you're watching this recording, you'll be able to introduce yourself by connecting with us, reaching out to admissions at fielding.edu, or submitting a request for information, which you might have already done if you're already watching this. Another thing to note too is that for those of you attending live and also for those watching this recording, you do get a $75 application fee waiver for attending live or watching a recording. So if you have, go ahead and send an email to admissions@fielding.edu, and one of our excellent admissions advisors will be able to go ahead and apply that waiver to your record or application with the email that you use to register or request information. So that's something that we offer as a courtesy, as a thank you, because we know that you're busy and to be able to dedicate your time to attend and watch this either for 40 minutes or so or however long it takes. We appreciate that time that you come to learn about us and be able to engage. So if you have any questions, again, reach out to admissions@fielding.edu. But going back to kind of with this presentation, what we're going to be doing is we'll talk a little bit more about organization development, talk more about the master's program, the curriculum, what you'll be expected to know as you go into the program, and then how to apply to the program and fund the program as well. At the very end for our live sessions, we do have a live Q&A. So that's something that we always engage our prospective students to look into to be able to connect with us. And then if you're not able to attend, we always offer one-on-one conversations with myself, with Okokon, and with our other admissions advisors as well. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and start off with some introductions. So my name is Ignacio Vargas. I'm the Senior Admissions Advisor for the School of Leadership Studies here at Fielding Graduate University. I'm working at Fielding for about 5 years now. I've been working with Fielding since 2020 and currently work and live in Ventura, California, which is a 35-minute drive south from Santa Barbara, California, where Fielding's main administrative office is currently located. One of my best and favorite features of this program is I'm a proud alum from the program. I recently started in 2022 and I finished in 2023, a full year. And it's been one of the most exciting aspects of the past few years to be able to engage in this master's program, especially at Fielding. And one thing that I want to share is that, whether you want to get the admissions perspective or the alumni perspective, I'd be happy to connect with you one-on-one to kind of talk through a little bit more about what to expect and prepare, because this is a rigorous program. And especially as a working professional, which a lot of our students are coming into, having to balance an academic coursework along with working full-time and personal applications, it's not easy. So, if you have any questions about that, kind of like wanted to talk through these things, or if you're going back into school for the first time, I know it can be kind of daunting. So definitely here to just be able to talk it through with you, provide some guidance and support as you go through with that. But with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to our excellent program director, Okokon Udo, to introduce himself as well, along with our excellent admissions coordinator, engagement coordinator, Zoe Blaylock, as well. With that in mind, I'll go ahead and pass it over to you, Okokon.
Thanks, Ignacio. Hello, everyone. Thanks for making time to attend our information session today. My name is Okokon Udo. I'm the director of the program. I wish I could say, like Ignacio, that I'm a grad of the program or a grad of Fielding, but I'm not. So I'm kind of jealous in that way. That is because I've gotten to know a lot of our graduates who are doing amazing things in the world. And we can certainly talk about that as part of our Q&A today. So I've been the director for less than 2 years now, but I'm also the director of the evidence-based coaching program at Fielding. And with that other program, I've been affiliated for 5 years now. So my role is to hold the container for the program, meaning ensuring that our curriculum is up to date and reflects what's going on out there in the world and in the profession. But I also support the development of faculty, so you have the best faculty that are delivering the program. So what you can count on me for is to be there advocating, providing the conditions that allow you to do your journey in a successful way. And with that said, I will pass it on to Zoe.
Thank you so much, and hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Just like Ignacio said, taking some time out of your busy schedule. I'm Zoe. I use she, her pronouns. I'm in Northern California. I'm in Napa. Um, And I'm also a current fielding student. I'm working in a role right now where I am supporting our admissions team, and we look forward to engaging with you as you begin exploring, our program, and we hope to welcome you into our community. And that's it for me.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Zoe. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about what makes Fielding unique. For those of you attending this call right now, please make sure to include your name, your location, what you do, and what you're seeking for in a graduate program so we can get to know you a little bit more and respond to you directly in the chat as we go through the presentation. All right. Okay, so let's go talking a little bit more about what makes Fielding unique. So, Fielding was founded in 1974 by Halleck Hoffman, Steve Hudson, and Renita Tesh, a group of scholar practitioners that had the vision for making graduate education accessible for adult learners without requiring them to move to a new city to attend in-person classes. That was a norm. And, now as you can see, 52 years later, there's a lot more programs that offer this kind of flexibility. So with that in mind, Fielding has still remained cutting edge and stands out. And that is due because of its mission. That mission is manifested today with most of our programs being delivered fully online at a distance with synchronous Zoom classes and asynchronous assignments. What this means is that it meets the demands of many adult learners who have busy lives with personal and professional obligations. Hello, that was me, right? And other students as Fielding as well. That makes Fielding, a very popular choice for students seeking a learning model that prioritizes interdisciplinary thinking, flexible learning plans, and applying theory into practice through their assignments, capstones, and dissertations. So with that in mind, students to come to Fielding from around the world, which make the classes a very engaging experience as students bring in issues ranging in diverse contexts and tackling how best to approach these issues with a social justice focus. So, with students from across the world, and many ask, is Fielding reputable? Why, yes, we are. And on this slide over here, we'll talk a little bit more about our accreditation. So we emphasize that Fielding is an age-friendly university with students ranging between 21 to 84, with the average age of our students coming in at 45. One common myth is that you have to be a certain age to attend a graduate program or that it's too late to complete a program. Rest assured, you're not alone. It's never too late. And you'll find that there are over currently 940 enrolled students across our various programs. And out of those, we have 7.5 thousand alumni since we started in 1974. The Western Association of Schools and Colleges has regionally accredited Fielding Graduate University since 1982. And so at Fielding, one thing you'll notice about this program and other programs at Fielding is that you'll enjoy small cohort sizes, so you'll be able to develop closer bonds with your faculty, with your classmates, and that's going to be something you'll find within the school psychology and also within the school of leadership studies as well. And so with that in regards, let's kind of dive a little bit more further into what organization development is and the program curriculum. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Okokon to introduce himself and talk a little bit more about the field as a whole.
Thanks again, Ignacio. Before I go into talking about OD and the curriculum and the design and the impact it will have on you, I just want to build on what Ignacio said earlier about the fact that Fielding was founded for adult learners. So when you come to our program, in this case, the MA-OD&L program, you are coming into a context where we care about you. So as a university, there are support resources, whether you are a recent university grad or somebody who hasn't been in school for quite a while because you've been out in the field, there are resources to support you to make you succeed at what you are coming here for. What that means is we believe in this partnership between you and us. So you have to tell us what you need. You have to tell us what is not working. You also have to tell us where you are struggling, because if we don't know what's happening, it's really difficult to design and support you in the way that we need to. The other piece I want to put out there is we believe in this scholar practitioner framework. You are here for an academic program, but that academic program is playing out in real life, in the real world. And what that means is all the experiences you have had in life about how organizations function or do not, the questions that you have are going to be needed in every class, in every interaction, and in every paper that you write. So don't throw away or sideline or silence the experiences that you have had in life, because that is actually what feeds the richness of the program that we have. So, what is organizational development? I'll just read it the way it is. It is the process of increasing OD and facilitating personal and organizational change through the use of interventions driven by social and behavioral science knowledge. That's a mouthful, but what it means is that things do not just happen on their own, that there is a rhyme and a reason. There is data that supports what works, what doesn't work, what we need to do to bring about the results that we desire. And in my opinion, that's very empowering. It's like it puts the keys to the magic in your hands. So all of our classes are designed for that purpose. You're going to go, oh, that makes sense. I did that, but I didn't know what it was. That's what is going to be happening throughout your learning. And what it does, if you are like me, is it empowers me. Like the more I have all these linkages and connections, I feel, oh, now and I can stand tall and hold my shoulders high because I know what I am doing. So if you're on this call, at the end of our program, you are going to come away feeling like you know what you are doing and you can stand in this confident place of being a professional that can support other people, that can support systems in navigating challenges, bridging the gaps so they can excel at what they do. That's OD, big picture. And we're going to be zooming into the nuts and bolts of that, but you're going to be investigating theory. You are going to be learning from a team of faculty that are living and practicing in two worlds. One is academia, the other one is every one of them has a thriving practice out there in the world in different settings and contexts that they are drawing from and bringing into the classroom for every interaction that you have. So if that's what you are interested in, then you're in the right place because we get excited about it and we have results to show for it. So in terms of OD capabilities, think about it as the different like moving parts that make this real. Here they are. I actually started with this self plus. So the self is going to be a very important component of everything you learn and how you make sense of what is happening. So self-awareness, who am I? And developing and maintaining this sense of your ability to reflect on what's going on, make sense of it, the word I want to throw in this interrogate. Interrogate what is coming your way. Sometimes I interrogate beliefs that I had that I might need to let go of because they are not fitting in anymore or serving me anymore. That is the mindset that we want. And that means when if we fast forward it, as a professional, you are being hired to do things, people can count on you to be on top of it. On top of it, meaning that you are always reflecting on what is working, what worked yesterday, but it's not working today, and what else do I need to do to move this forward so we can achieve whatever the desired and design goals might be. Inclusion and equity. This word has taken a big beating, I would say, not just in this country, but in the world. And so I kind of want to open it up again that we are really talking about inclusive excellence here. Inclusive excellence touches on, I would say, all dimensions of life. Mindset, worldview, and then you get into some specifics like gender, age, height, ability and disability kind of parameters that happen, the neurodiversity spectrum that is part of our reality. You can go on and on and on and on. All of those show up in the conference room. They show up on Teams every day because we bring all these dimensions of who we are into every space that we are in. So when you see inclusion and equity, it's not about race or ethnicity. Those are just a few dimensions of it, but it is a lot more. In fact, a lot of times in the conference room when people are talking business, mindset can be what gets in the way. When somebody holds so strongly to something and cannot see another perspective, and the other person doesn't understand where that person is coming from, a lot of time that's where clashes come from and can stall whatever the initiative is. Systems thinking is very different from thinking about something from a very narrow perspective. It means the broadest possible view that you are taking. Think about it right now as the view of where you are from the drone perspective that is flying above. It sees much more than you can ever see. So when I am doing an intervention in an organization, I want to have a sense for all of that before we can focus in on whatever the challenge is that they're addressing. So let's just play with an example. You're asked to come and address challenges that leadership is having. They're not functioning effectively. And so that's your intervention. From a systems thinking perspective, I can go in there and suddenly I want to design and implement, leadership development workshops. But I don't know what caused the problems to start with. I do not know how they interact. I do not know what the power issues are, what the culture issues are that get in the way or support whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. I do not know what the individual experiences of all these leaders are. So if you are tracking what I'm saying so far, I'm thinking about I need to have conversations, you know, individually, in groups. I need to talk to whoever hired me, the CEO or the HR, because I want to know more. So I do not go there and try to bring about a very narrow intervention, but something that will ultimately serve them in the best possible way. I love the skillful intervention. Remember when I was talking about you feeling like you can stand taller and hold your shoulders high? It is because you know what you are doing. That's in this skillful intervention. And through our program, you will acquire skills and you are going to feel like, oh, yeah, I can do that. I'm going to send you the proposal because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm thinking about that will help address whatever this concern is that we just learned about at this meeting. So you are not going to be feeling lost, but feeling like you are on top of it and can navigate it effectively. It's theory based. I've talked about that, but it's also future focused. So one example is once upon a time, maybe because you've gone through performance evaluation, for example. It used to be something that was done once a year, maybe end of November, it was a thing. Well, with time, we discovered that didn't work, did it? Because it did not give people enough time to integrate whatever that feedback was. So it became a box that was checked. Now, performance evaluation has to be ongoing. You have to tell people on a regular basis, sometimes weekly, sometimes every other week, hey, I really liked how you showed up at that meeting. Thank you because your perspective always expands what we are doing. Then this person knows, oh, there is something that is valuable here. Or, you know what, Okokon, twice I have noticed that you didn't prepare well for those meetings. See, then I can improve on it and start paying attention to the fact that I need to prepare more for meetings. So that's where that is. I can get too excited, so I'm going to kind of bracket it so we can get to the important part, which is what? Having conversations with you and really hearing what's connecting or not connecting for you or where you have more questions. So this is the OD competency framework. What this framework does is it defines the differentiating competencies. So that word comes in again. Remember when we talked about your expertise, like being an informed expert, it is based on some of these competencies or all of these competencies that we are going to talk about. Because it is referenced as OD competencies here, there was work done again from what? From this research and evidence base that tapped into the wisdom of nearly 1,000 global OD business leaders, consultants, academic professionals, and experienced advisors. So people out there in the field contributed globally to the design of what you have in front of us right now on the screen. We can step into it from anywhere, any point. So let's start from the orange one and go right. Systems change expert. You will acquire skills and competencies through our program design and implementation that allows you to be that. That you will know how to help an organization or a team go from their current state to whatever their desired state is. Efficient designer, the metaphor that always comes to me is like the architect. What are they listening for? I want people to feel welcome when they step into this house we are going to build. I want to wake up every day and feel like it's my paradise. It's my sanctuary. See, that's what the architect is listening for. So you are saying, I want every employee in this company to feel like this is home. See, I'm noting all of this so that I can do what? I can put it in the design to achieve all of what I just heard. So the more questions I'm asking and clarifying, the better, because I'm going to hear more about exactly what the issue is and what the hoped for outcomes are. And then you get to business advisor. On every client project that I have and have had, I have served as a business advisor in most cases to the CEO. So in addition to working with the teams and in most of those cases with the CEO involved, I will still meet with them separately to kind of go, are we on track? You know, what are your concerns? Do you have like implementation questions or challenges? Because when I leave, it's going to be up to you. So I am doing what? I am supporting and advising whoever these business leaders are so that they can stay ahead of the game and are able to support the process as it unfolds. And then credible strategies. I'm loving the sound and feel of each of this. So you are helping them strategize. So you are not just a passive participant in the process, but an active one that is helping shape how they are going to move things forward. And then we get to the informed consultant. Most of us are hired as consultants, and and so the informed consultant is you have the ability to help all of these pieces come together to achieve like a meaningful intervention for whoever this client is. I think I'm going to pause. Ignacio, you've been silent for too long. You're always my partner in crime. So I'm going to have you like jump in and present this if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. So, in terms of like kind of getting some context for the field of OD, right, and then kind of like what to keep in mind, the frameworks of organization development, that informs the curriculum that you'll see here on this next slide. So in the curriculum timeline, the program itself is delivered over a full year, and we'll share a little bit the schedule of when each class starts and ends. But typically, the first four courses you see organizational behavior and leadership, organizational culture, organizational change, and organizational design. These are more theory, these are more frameworks, these are a lot more reading heavy. So you're going to have a lot of papers, a lot of different materials that you'll be engaging with to be able to kind of build your foundations, get a lot of self-awareness, being able to kind of get a lot of stronger context for the field of OD, especially for those who've been in the field of OD. Maybe they have been doing consulting, as some of you on this call are. Others, this is a brand new field, so kind of getting that very great entry point to kind of build your foundations, a very strong base for that. That's going to be the space where the first four courses are going to be holding that space for you to be able to grow with your cohort and see the different unique cases of, working with OD, DEI, being able to look at changes, case studies, practice simulations. It'll be a lot of space for you to kind of build up that knowledge. And the reason why we do that is because organizational consulting, the fifth course in the program, that's going to be where you're going to do a 7 week long simulation with faculty where they will be able to practice with you and another classmate to be able to have your own space to do like a OD intervention of some sort, scoping out, learning about the organization, having meetings to be able to figure out, okay, what is the best way to approach this situation, this intervention? What do they need? What is the goals? What is the ideal state that we want them to reach? And that is in preparation for your capstone project, which is the sixth course. And that capstone project is where you are going to be pretty much building everything you've learned, the practice you've done from the simulations, the case studies, and all the different meetings you've had with faculty and your classmates to be able to implement an OD intervention either with your own organization, an affiliate organization with Fielding, or a third party, maybe one that isn't associated with your employment or another organization. So that is something that you'll be able to implement. And in those 7 weeks, it goes by fast. And if you've worked in the OD space for a while, you'll know that OD interventions are rarely ever short and simple and sweet. So a lot of times with the capstone projects, it can be a very great entry point to kind of scope out in terms of what may be needed. And as you'll see, a lot of our alumni kind of test this, is that a lot of our students do find the OD intervention, the capstone project, as a space for them to be able to do a paid and working um, opportunity or contract after they complete the program. We've even had some individuals who started the capstone project with an organization and they got referred by another organization and they were able to have work starting as their own consultancy practice. If they're working as an external consultant, others they're in the internal or consultants and such, and so they're able to use this capstone project to elevate themselves to work in different positions, different projects and such. And for those of you who are not working in the spaces, it can be a really great way to be able to build and start your own business and such, and be able to market yourself with the skills that you've gained, to be able to market yourself on LinkedIn, on your resume, and other materials. And we do provide some resources for students to kind of keep in mind when they're starting their own consulting, how to build a contract, what to keep in mind, and scoping these things out. So by the end of the program, you'll have the knowledge, the foundation to be able to approach these situations with confidence, as Okokon was mentioned earlier. Other details, Okakon, you want to add
No, I
as well?
mean you always do a brilliant job. So thank you for being my partner in crime. The other piece I wanted to sort of add on to what Ignacio said at the last graduation this past fall, two students were already hired, based on the capstone project. They were so excited. Like those organizations said, okay, now we've got a new project for you. So it's real. Like once you do a great job and they know how you brought in all of those competencies that we talked about, they know you are ready to go. So that's another opportunity for students to like get launched into the field seamlessly. So here is, like faculty of the program. I mentioned earlier that they're all scholar practitioners. So each one of them, from having a niche in leadership, being immersed in inclusive excellence, communications, what other themes come to you, Ignacio? How would you categorize some of these amazing folks on the screen right now?
Definitely very service oriented, working with a lot of different folks from their organizations that they work with, and then a lot of space for like organizational design and really considering their
Mhm.
positions of privilege, power, social justice, and just being able to work within that space. That's something you'll enjoy within our faculty.
Thank you. Do you want to take this one? Schedule?
Yes.
I can.
Yeah,
Okay, sure.
definitely.
Hmm.
And so a little thing to note, as we mentioned earlier, the 6 courses you'll be taking, the you'll see on the right the cohort schedule of when each class starts and ends for summer of 2026. We do rolling admissions for fall of 2026 as well and for spring of 2027. And if you are curious to see those schedules for those later terms, let me know and I'd be happy to send those schedules to you so you can see if those ones might work out better. This is something to keep in mind if you are looking to start for summer, which classes will start in May. But if you are looking to start in May, the one thing to note, as we mentioned earlier, is that the program is delivered fully online, so there are no required residencies to be able to complete this program. All 6 classes, the modules, are delivered in 7 weeks each. So technically speaking, we have 3 terms at Fielding, which is spring, summer, and fall. Spring runs from January through mid-April, summer runs from May until mid-August, and then fall runs from September through mid-December. And so there's always a 2-week break at the end of each term before the next term starts. And between each module, you get like a week break in between. So there is that space as well. In terms of the time commitment that you'll need to consider for this program is about 10 plus hours or so, and that includes the weekly 1 hour classes that you'll have on Zoom. These weekly classes are typically decided with the cohort and with the faculty lead to ensure that students are able to attend these because we have students from different time zones. So that's something you'll be able to discuss at the beginning of every class so that way you are able to attend these. And they're recorded as well. So if you have to miss a portion of it, you're not able to attend, make sure to watch the recording afterwards and be able to catch up with the makeup assignment as well. You'll be notified as well with the faculty in terms of the attendance, if it's required or highly preferred, but you'll always be notified regarding that. And then we always get this question, in terms of like, I'm going to this program. How big are my classmates? How's the size of like the classmates I'll be working with? And typically the cohort sizes ranges between 5 to 15. We did have an influx of students coming in like during the COVID pandemic. That was a space where we had a lot of students kind of having a lot more time to be able to look at grad programs to advance their careers in many ways. And so I think the largest cohort size we had around that time, and we also had a program redesign at the time. So it worked out really well to have a lot of students coming in. But I think our largest cohort size was around like 28 students. And then after that, we've gone a little bit smaller as we've had more people kind of like take a little bit more time, kind of consider their options and such in terms of the program. But yeah, that's something you'll consider within the cohort sizes. When I went through the program in 2022, my cohort size was 7 people. And even to this day, 4 years later, I'm still connecting with them on LinkedIn, still chatting. We've even had some time to meet up and be able to have coffee and stuff like that, even though we're all in different parts of in California and also in the East Coast as well. But that's something you'll be able to kind of consider is that these small cohort sizes, you do develop really strong bonds, and there's opportunities for you to connect with your cohort, other cohorts within the program, and also other students at Fielding as well through our Moodle, which is the learning platform that you'll see here as a screenshot. As you'll see here in the screenshot, every week you'll see your assignments, your readings, and other materials you need to know as you go week by week within the program. And as you see here, you'll see kind of links for the meeting times. You'll have a link to be able to read the discussion post, the different textbooks, and also other readings as well, along with like podcasts, videos to watch, and other materials too. So that's something you'll enjoy within the program. It's not just reading, trust me, there's a lot more other content that you'll be able to consume as well. But reading is definitely a very strong component of it. And typically with these assignments, you'll be able to kind of plan out week by week of when you need to be able to dedicate some more reading time, video time, and so things that we'll find is that some assignments take a little bit less to be able to time to complete. Some of them are like an hour or less to be able to complete. So with that in mind, a lot of students do tend to find that they're able to squeeze in some work while they're, coming back, listen to an audiobook of the readings and such to be able to manage their time effectively while they go through the program. And in addition to that, I want to share a little bit more about the admissions process. So if you're looking to start for summer of 2026, the application deadline is March 2020 to March 26, 2026. A lot of 26 in that time. But we do rolling admissions at Fielding as well, as mentioned earlier. So what that means is that as long as an application is completed and submitted with all the required documents, we can provide you an admissions decision in about 2 weeks or less. So this is something to consider, especially because we've had some students who are working with their employers, or they work with an organization that can provide some sponsorship of some sort, or they're looking to use financial aid. So if you do need a little bit more time to get your finances all settled, or if you do need advance notice for your organization, we definitely recommend applying earlier so that way you can get required documentation, and we can send this over to you to make sure everything's all settled before May 9th, which is when the first term tuition payment is due. And every term, you'll get the notification of when tuition is due. It's usually within the first week of classes and such. But that is something we want to offer to our students, especially for those, because we understand that planning ahead, especially with your work, having as much advance notice is very critical. But with that in mind, if you are offered admissions to the program, you would have until April 8th to start classes in May. And if you sign your admissions agreement, that admissions agreement will highlight your terms and conditions for starting the program, along with some very helpful policies to keep in mind as you go through the program and as you enter fielding as a student. As mentioned, May 4th is the start of classes, and so the requirements that you'll need to fulfill for the application is to have either conferred bachelor's, master's, or doctoral official transcripts sent directly to fielding. If you have your official transcripts in a sealed envelope, you can send that to mail to fielding, and we'll be able to process it and attach it to your application. Another option we have for our students is that we have a contract that we work with National Student Clearinghouse. And so what that does is that in the application, you can type in your university or universities if they're regionally based in the United States to see if they do degree verifications with the National Student Clearinghouse. And if they do show up and they are working with the National Student Clearinghouse, what you need to do is submit your materials, submit your application, and then click on the FERPA release authorization checkbox. And once you do that, our team will then run a degree verification on your behalf, free of charge. And then once we receive the verification of your transcripts, we'll be able to process it into your application and complete it. So that's something to consider, especially is if you're looking to have your transcripts be sent over. We do offer that degree verification if it participates in the National Student Clearinghouse. If your university or degrees are earned from outside the United States, totally okay. We don't do degree verifications with them with the National Student Clearinghouse because that's typically US-based colleges and such. But we will require a course-by-course evaluation with a cumulative GPA from a NACES agency. There's 17 different agencies that provide these transcript evaluations for degrees earned out the United States to ensure that they're equivalent to a US degree. And if you have questions about this, we'll be happy to answer them on a one-on-one call just to kind of see what agency that will be able to work with you and also the different timelines. Because one thing that the course-by-course evaluations do is that they typically take around 3 to 4 weeks. So if you are looking to apply for this program and you have a degree that's based outside the United States, we definitely want you to be able to have this transcript evaluation be completed a little bit sooner than later. Because if you order it by March 26th, most likely we won't be able to receive your transcript evaluation before April 8th, which is when the admissions agreements are due. So if this is applicable to you, definitely make sure to get on this sooner than later so that way you have enough time to have this evaluation be sent to fielding. In addition to that, we require the students submit their resume, so 1 or 2 pages highlighting their professional and academic experiences. Their statement of purpose. Its statement of purpose is equivalent to like other universities naming it a statement of intent. Kind of what are you looking for at fielding? How is this program aligned with your research interests, your goals, and how do the program outcomes match with your goals themselves as well? There's a full instructions and such in the application portal to kind of take a look at to be able to fulfill this application requirement. And then the online application form itself hosts all these materials to be able to submit online, and you can go in and out as needed. The one thing to note is that if you do want to start an application soon, you can go ahead and go to fielding.edu, click on apply now, the very top of our website. And once you click on that, you'll be able to enter your information there to be able to start your application and then get admissions decisions related through there as well. One thing to note is that we do holistic review of applications. We're not looking to screen out applicants, we're looking to screen in. So that's something to consider. Another thing to note too is that the program itself, since it is delivered fully online, it is not eligible for an F1 visa. So that's something if you're looking at programs at fielding, generally the F1 visas for programs that do have residencies required in the United States. The only one in fielding that is eligible for an F1 visa is our PhD in clinical psych. So if you are interested in being able to look at that program and have like a visa, make sure to look into that program. But other programs that are delivered fully online typically are not eligible for this. So something to share with that. And then last but not least, there is no application fee for this program at all. So that is something to consider. And, as a courtesy, that is something that we want to provide to our students for this program as well. The total tuition and fees for this program, if you're looking to start for summer of 2026, with the current tuition rates, is 27,600 US dollars, and that composes of $765 per credit, and there's 36 credits in the program, and each module is a $10 per module student activity fee, which supports different student organizations and groups at Fielding. So if you were to split that into a course, typically it's 4,600 per module. You take 2 modules per term, or you can split the cost of the program, the tuition, into monthly payments, which is 2,300 per month in a monthly payment plan with no interest. There is a $50 per term setup fee that you would need to set up if you want to use that monthly payment plan. We know that financial planning is very critical when looking at this program. So a lot of different methods that students have used to be able to cover the cost of tuition is financial aid. If you are looking to start for summer of 2026, make sure to fill out the 2025 through 2026 free application for federal student aid around the application deadline. And we say around the application deadline because as long as you submit a FAFSA or a financial need assessment form, if you're not eligible to fill out the FAFSA, you can be considered for scholarships at Fielding. Fielding does have some scholarships available for students. However, in terms of the funding, we want to make note that most of these scholarships are supplemental forms of payment. They're not going to be primary forms of payment, so they won't necessarily cover the full cost of a term tuition. So always having a primary form of payment is going to be crucial to be able to fund the program. In addition to the other primary forms of payment, students have used veterans benefits. So if you have Chapter 31, Chapter 33, or Chapter 35 benefits, let us know so we can provide you the proper documentation and other resources to ensure your benefits can be utilized at Fielding. As mentioned earlier, if you are looking to have your employer provide some assistance to cover the cost of tuition, let us know what documentation they need, what other steps that are required to ensure that you are provided the necessary support to have this finalized. And then last but not least, payments. Self-payments would be the other option for students to be able to cover the cost of tuition and fees. Our financial aid office, if you are looking to use financial aid, they are available to connect with even before you decide to apply, so you can kind of get a better understanding of your funding plan and using financial aid to cover the cost of tuition. You can schedule an appointment, email them at finaid@fielding.edu, or call them directly. They'll be happy to walk through some information and resources so that way you have more insight on what options are available for you for financial aid and funding for the program. And with that in mind, the last slide here is our contact information. So after watching this, you can go ahead and reach out to me to have a one-on-one conversation, talk a little bit more about your goals, kind of seeing if this program aligns with what you're looking to do, talk a little bit more about the admissions process, enrollment process, and make sure that you have more information about funding. And then if you have questions about the program itself, the curriculum, talking a little bit more about the field of OD, coaching and such, definitely connect with Okokon. He'd be your best point of contact. And with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. And we look forward to connecting with all of you by reaching out to admissions@fielding.edu.